Hello everybody, welcome to Trinity College with us.
Today was to try and reinforce the human element and to bring awareness and probably impart some of our knowledge to the social workers so that the relationship and connection can happen, so that there's not that barrier.
They're only student social workers, and for them to become social workers is a big achievement for them, and for them to hear their voices today and to be told that, listen, like I thought you were here to rob my kids. You know, there's another way of approaching.
The social workers are very important work to do, and if that barrier, that stigma is in the way, it doesn't allow for it to happen, you know.
I never thought I'd be on the grounds of Trinity, let alone speaking on such a high level.
There's so many positives that everyone can take from it, but I think the biggest positive is influencing social workers, the students, because they're the ones that are going to go out and have to do this work and interact with the public and try and be a positive in the lives of people, you know, and they are. In working with the group, our group from ATD, it's great to see us all coming together and working in different angles, but yet making the one picture, if you understand me. And we were talking about the jigsaw, the missing piece from the jigsaw, which is the 10th ground, add the 10th, which is for equality legislation.
What add the 10th is, there's 9 grounds of equality legislation, and add the 10th would be, say you went to apply for a job or you didn't get a job based on where you were from or your accent. We're trying to get a law passed so that would stop happening and people would have a fairer chance. If you want to take now 5 minutes to chat to your neighbour about what it means to you, what does poverty and socio-economic discrimination mean to you? You can write what it means to you on the cards that we handed out.
If we can learn to come together and share experiences and build a bond and get to know each other, I think it'll become much easier for us and the social workers.
Bring other people into the fold so that they get the opportunity to present themselves in a positive manner and to impart their knowledge and wisdom and insights onto people who are going to be in a position to make these changes.
I always had lots of support from my family, even though I thought I'd let them down. 7 years ago, I met my husband. He accepted me and believed in me. I never had somebody love me like the way he does. We got pregnant with my daughter Heidi, but it wasn't easy, and I didn't think my past could ever come back to haunt me. Till the day I was in hospital, only after giving birth to my child, when a social worker walked in. I'll never forget it. I pulled me baby girl up off the bed and held her so close to my chest, because unfortunately, when we hear the word social worker, what's the first thing we think? Well, I thought she was coming to take me baby away from me. I wanted to run out the door with me baby. It turned around, because of me history, she had a right to make sure my daughter had a safe home to live. She called to me mother's home and seen it was more than okay for me child, and the case was closed. I'll never forget the day. It will always haunt me. I had nightmares for weeks that they were going to come and take me child away from me. Not a nice experience for a new mum. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. I think that was the right way to go with a new mother, only after giving birth to her child. What did I do wrong? I want a society that doesn't treat me children the way I was. I hope there's an end to socio-economic discrimination. I hope my kids are never discriminated against the way I was. I'm here and I'm sharing this story with you all because I'm standing up for my children and their future. The lack of equal opportunities must end so that they won't suffer the hardships in life that I did. That experience made me a stronger person. I never thought I'd be able to do something like this, but I'm here and I'm fighting for my kids' future. I'm taking positive steps so that my children can follow in the footsteps that I have laid down. We are human just like yours, but it's important to understand each other. A lot of us in this room might have went through things that other people didn't go through and they didn't know how to handle it. When I was growing up, I went through a lot of stuff that I couldn't handle. But I've changed a lot since then. And the same negative vibe that people have against the social work system, how that makes you guys feel, we feel like that too. I'm doing a CE scheme now in SAIL project for women. We get students in, and we had a student in from Trinity. She's not here today, thank God, because she knows what I'm like, I'll cry. And I have to say that student really not only changed my whole outlook on the social work system, but every woman in that room. She only spent a short time with me, but she really got to know me, and I got to know her as a person. And I think that's important for that relationship to be built first, so we're not constantly in fight or flight mode. I know years ago social workers, they used to be called the baby snatchers. Well, I personally don't believe that. And I don't think that all social workers are the same either. I believe that there may be just been some bad practice, but what you guys are doing, sending students into places like this to get to know us as women, to get to know us as people, you'll be surprised. You might be able to relate to some things with us. But please continue what you are doing, because it's being acknowledged. And you have that one student has already changed so many women's look on the whole social work system. So hats off to you guys. And I believe that you guys are probably going to be the ones that's going to change that negative name. So thank you for hearing me.
This is my story. My name is Anne-Marie, and I would like to thank ATD for everything they did for me. I am with them nearly 20 years. They showed me how to use my voice. Well, I grew up in the city centre. My mother had 9 kids, 4 boys and 5 girls. Things were very hard growing up, as we were very, very poor. I got through it. I'm living one day at a time. Some days are harder than others, but the good weighs out the bad. I'm in a good place at the moment in my life. I have not got a dime to my name, but I have my kids back in my life, and I feel like a millionaire. I have great support around me. Thank you, God, today I'm back on the road to recovery, and it isn't easy, I can tell you that, but I'm not going to stop trying for myself and my kids. I'm going to a day program 5 days a week. I am doing dancing 3 days a week. Holy God. We're opening the show because on the month of September is Recovery Month, and it's all to do with recovery. So there's a show getting open. 12 of us are dancing. Tickets again sold.
I've had plenty of experience in the care system since a young age. I've been in the care setting since I'm 3, living in places like foster homes, respite, supported lodgances, residential, secure care, aftercare, and loads of just respite. So I've lived in over 60 houses altogether in my time in care. No child that's in care has asked to be there. So of course they are going to run back to their family where they feel comfortable, loved and wanted, and locking a child in a secure care unit for these reasons is not helping anyone. The children in secure care units have absolutely no voice. When you're in this type of system and when the child turns 18, there is no help or services to help them transition from secure care to independent living, and that is setting all the young people up to fail in life because there is no support at all. This is why so many young people getting out of secure care do not maintain sobriety and lose their housing because they don't know how to function outside of a care setting. I've made a video last week explaining some of the struggles young people in care face, and also how we get discriminated against without people realising. Thank you, enjoy the video. And even down to little things like trying to get a new doctor or trying to get a credit union, they always look for a fixed address, and this comes into play with the homeless as well. Most homeless people obviously haven't got a fixed address that they can turn to, so they can't, for example, open a bank account without a letter of proof of address. They can't get a new doctor, they can't do anything, open a credit union. So how does anyone expect people to better themselves when they're constantly being discriminated against by everyone?
So lately I've been thinking a lot about life, and it made me realise that one day I'm not going to be here, but my kids will be. It's actually kind of motivated me to make the world a better place, whether it is to do with social work or socio-economic discrimination or anything I set my mind to. And I believe by sharing this knowledge to everyone that is sitting here today, I believe one person can make a difference. Even if life has stepped on them, that one person still has value. So I hope that ye will take what I have said here today and bring it forward into your social work career and see it in the person, whoever ye come across, that you would see that they have value.
This is a series of slides that were put together from dialogue and discussion we had with many groups and amongst ourselves. These would have been groups that we went and visited in similar circumstances when we were talking about social economic discrimination and the effects it has on people. So Lorraine's going to start.
Positive practice. Often we only hear negative stories about social workers and we don't hear all the positive work. It's important to recognise positive practice. Showing simple signs of respect are very important, and not to be talked down to a parent.
It's time to build a good, constructive relationship. In my opinion, the social workers are often changed. You can have a lot of different social workers in your life in a short time, and that doesn't help us build a strong relationship.
Social workers carry a lot of power. Parents can often feel powerless in the relationship. The stakes can be extremely high to the point of losing a child into the care system. Recognising this power disproportion is important. Feeling judged. People are often judged on their past. You could have gone through a rough patch a few years back and moved on since then, but can still go against you. It could be on the record and turn up and go against you even though you have changed and things are going well. Fear. Parents have a genuine fear of social work intervention. When a social worker comes to the door, you are filled with fear. Fear based on what you have heard from others. You may have done nothing wrong, but the fear still comes. I'm not sure that even the social workers know how much power they have in the eyes of a parent. Power is something very important and needs to be addressed. A parent can feel powerless in the face of a social worker, and this can lead to fear, shame, guilt and a breakdown in the relationship. And if I can just make mention of Andrew real quick. Andrew's going to be going to New York soon, and he's going to be talking in the United Nations on these sort of matters and many others. And Andrew could give testify to this himself. He wouldn't have felt he would have been up to doing it a few years ago, but it's through the support that he was given. And I'm not able to show you the Andrew of a few years ago to the Andrew of today, but he's going to the United Nations and he's going to be a representative of ATD Ireland. He's on the international community, is it?
Yeah.
That's the importance of support. He was given support at the right time, and he's flourishing in life, and it'll only get better. And the best thing about it is Andrew's very caring and very giving, and he will give to others what was given to him. So that's the importance of support. And you, as maybe, hopefully, will be in positions where you will be able to support people and allow them to move on and bring them on to that, in that aspect. And people do remember the importance of the support they were given. This research was done several years ago, and now when we're living in the cost of living crisis, that's very relevant to today because people are having to make these decisions. A lot of women could testify to this, women with children and all, that they've probably had this sort of lack of choice for a long time anyway. I'm not just talking about today, but today it's more relevant in that it's kind of across the board now. And a lot of people are struggling with this because of the cost of living crisis, so it's very relevant. Like, there's loads of positives to social work, loads, you know what I mean? The negatives tend to get highlighted more than the positives, and a lot of that can be down to the media, and they love a bad story and they love to point out the bad things, and it highlights it and it makes it a lot bigger than what it is. Whereas Andrew was talking about the stigma that people, when they encounter the social worker and that fear element, and if that was gone, it'd be so good in that it'd allow users to do their work so much better.
And to have an effect on people, and for them to have an effect on us, it's actually huge for me.
I work with people from communities that I see lots of disadvantage, and I see lots of discrimination and exclusion from society and certain aspects of society. And to see we are being welcomed in by these people who are going to go out into society and work with people, and their intention is to improve society, as is ours. So for that coming together, you know, that bonding and working on this issue, and let's propose solutions, as was mentioned in the class by one of the professors. How do we tackle this?
The feedback that we got from the students was amazing. What they have experienced going out on placement, and I feel we had an impact last time, but we've had a bigger impact this time.
Well, it seemed to get across, and and a few of them, yeah, you could see, like, you could see, I think 1 or 2 chairs at the back.
And I hope that what we shared today with them, that they took in, and I know a lot of them have come back already with feedback to me. So I'm feeling really good today that the message that I put out there got across. So thank you to Trinity College and thank you to ATD.
Know there was a Trinity College, never mind come to it. So bravo, thanks to Trinity College, here I am. Until next time, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.